Shalom, shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh. Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kodash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of great most and salutations for your sincere Akim. Alright, so what we have here is a video going into poverty rates by country 2021, just to show how cost our people actually are or truly are, alright, because you go into this article and you read into it and you see all the various countries with the highest amount of poverty, okay, with the greatest amount of poverty. You realize that majority of these countries that are in the red, because you see the ratio, okay, that are in the red, okay, that in that words that have the highest rates of poverty are always going to be nations that are predominantly filled with Israelites. Okay, so just going to read a little bit of this article and then go down to where it mentions the top 10 poorest countries, or the top 10 countries with the highest poverty rate. So in the article it reads, poverty is defined as not having enough material possessions or income to cover a person's basic personal needs, sometimes so extreme where a person lacks food, clothing, and shelter. The poverty rate is the ratio of the number of people in a given age group whose income falls below the poverty line. Poverty can be a cyclical trap. For example, to rise above poverty, they need education, proper health care, access to clean water, and job opportunities to help their financial situation. Unfortunately, many people are in poverty. Many people in poverty Slovakia are too poor to afford education or are stuck in areas without these resources. If a natural disaster or conflict strike an impoverished area, then the already scarce resources are even more depleted. Around the world, poverty is on the decline. Since 1990, one quarter of the world has risen above extreme poverty. Today, estimates for global poverty are approximately 8.6% of the world. People who live in extreme poverty live on less than $2 per day. So I'm continuing on, going down to the main point, which of course is, according to World Bank, the countries with the highest poverty rates in the world are at least the 10 poorest countries in the world. All right, so basically what I was trying to do, I was trying to look for videos that would, look for articles or videos that would go into the poorest countries in the world, and you would see that it's predominantly Israelite countries, because majority of these countries are predominantly countries that are who that are predominantly Israelites. Okay, these are all, or the majority of them, by the way, are Israelite nations. All right, you have a huge population of Jakes among them, and the reason why you look into the poorest countries, the countries that always you look into the poorest countries, you look into the people that are the most impoverished, the people that are the poorest, least educated, all right, most diseased, okay, and different things like that. The reason why they are always going to be Israelites is because, like we always go into, the curses of Deuteronomy 28 are still upon us, and in those curses it tells you plainly that the heathen that is among us will get up very high above us, and we will be at the bottom. It tells you that our basket and our store are cursed, and that if we put anything into a basket, it is a basket that has holes in it. In other words, in other words, any money that you earn is a revolving door. Any money that you earn is being earned, so I can immediately spend this, and then you go straight back to it being earned again. All right, that's why you have majority of our people don't even have disposable income. What they have is a pocket with holes in it. So as soon as they spend, something just always comes along to take all that money away, whether it's bills, whether it's a debt that you didn't know that you owed, whether out of nowhere, just out of nowhere, new expenses come out, your car breaks down, one of your children falls sick, all right, your so something in your house spoils, you have to pay money to fix that, various things like that. But also you also have people that these kind of courses are heavy upon them to the point, where they're living in abject poverty, all right, which is basically, you know, they can't provide food for themselves, all right, they can't, they can't provide proper housing, clean water and things like that, because whenever they talk about these starving children in Africa and people that are living in severely impoverished situations within Africa, a good number of those people could actually be Israelites, and the courses are heavy on them because we have it, all right, because we already know that, because something that we should understand in this truth is that the curses are on all of our people in varying degrees of severity. In other words, some curses are heavier on our people than other curses, and while other curses are just beating the shit out of our people, beating our people down, because these curses were promised to follow our people and to destroy them wherever they go. Curse shall you be in the field, curse shall you be in the city, and these curses shall come, and because it shall chase thee and overtake thee, all right, and afflict us, you know basically that's what, because that's because of our sins against Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, because of what we have done against the Most High. But in times we are coming into right now, the Most High is making, he's lightening our affliction, especially those of us that are in this truth. He's lightening our affliction and taking away some of the curses that are on us. But don't make any mistake, the curses are still on us. They have not been removed. They have not been, they have not been reversed, and this is evidence of it. So now let's go into it. The top 10 highest, the countries with the highest poverty rate. Number one is South Sudan. Number two, Equatorial Guinea, Madagascar, Guinea-Bissau, Eritrea, Sao Tome, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, and Guatemala, which of course majority of these countries, more than half of their people are living, in poverty, all right. And most of these countries, you could go into it saying 90 to 80% of the countries here. In other words, 8 to 9 of the countries here are actually countries that are predominantly filled with Israelites. And I believe, I want to quickly check this Burundi, because these two countries that, or rather the three countries that I'm not too sure about. All right, here is okay. In a country in East Africa. All right, it's a country in East Africa. I'm not too sure about this Burundi, so I'll add it to the list of countries that may not be Israelite countries, but countries like South Sudan, all right, the Democratic Republic of Congo, you know, Burundi. I'm not too certain about whether they're actually Israelite countries, but majority of the all the other countries here, Equatorial Guinea, or those are Jakes. All right, Madagascar, a good amount of, a majority of them will be Jakes, all right, because of, because it's an island, because of the island was, people, the island has a history of that Jake has migrated of Jakes migrating into it, fleeing, right, Roman persecution, fleeing the Arab slave trade. Right, you have Madagascar, you have Guinea-Bissau, which of course is a West African country, all right, which more likely than not, they will be Israelites. Same thing with Eritrea, Sao Tome, I believe, so I could be wrong about that. I believe that it's also a West African country. So let me just quickly Google the country, Sao Tome. It's not giving me. Okay, it's Central Africa. Okay, Central African. Yeah, it's an African country. You know, um, they are Burundi. I'll mention that one. Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic is also, a country that's filled. That has a lot of jakes in it, specifically Levi. All right, and Guatemala. That's a South African, that's South American. So like, yeah, and I believe the nation is alright, let me not say it right now because I don't want to get it. I don't want to make a mistake, so I'm not going to say it. But it's an Israelite country as well, and all these 10 countries, have that in common. That they are majority or predominantly populated by Israelites. Alright, and the reason why they are considered the poorest is because they have our people in it. Alright, because you even go up back to this list and you see the various nations, especially especially highlighting countries like South America, like West Africa, okay, the Sub-Saharan Africa, even East Africa, because you have a lot of Israelites in that region. South Africa, Southern Africa as well. The majority of the people that are there, majority of the people in Africa are Jakes. So you have your various Asian nations, all right, which would have Africans, which would have Israelites in it as well. You see that they are in the red, which is basically have a higher poverty rate than all the rest of the world, whereas you have your western countries, your Edomite nations, and they are all in the blue. All right, because those are the ones that are ruling on the earth currently, and the reason why majority of them aren't even really that in the blue is because of the Israelite population in them that are in poverty as well, because you still have Israelites in these various countries. The most popular one would be Babylon the Great, which is North America. Alright, you will still have Israelites dwelling in these countries, which will be bringing up the poverty rates, because our people, wherever they are always in the poorhouse. Alright, so now let's get some precepts. Isaiah 42, verse 22, and it reads, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore." And that's right, because wherever our people are, they are always preyed upon. They are always exploited, used for their talents, for the blessings which the Most High are giving them, and you know, nothing is returned to them but crumbs, right, from the rich man's table, from Esau's table, from the other nations that are exploiting them stealing. And none of these nations, even though they know who we are, even though they know about our heritage, will ever say, let's have some mercy on them, let's have some pity on them, and try to give them back some knowledge, put them on their feet, right, and try to help them through this, because these nations are our enemies. They are all confederates joined together against us in order to destroy us and to cast and to, as it is written in Psalms 83, to make the name of Israel no longer in remembrance. In other words, to eradicate our people. So let me go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, read through some of the courses I mentioned, all right? And here it's, let me start from this. Deuteronomy 28, verse 16, and it reads, "Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field." So no matter where our people run to, they cannot escape these curses, whether you run to the field, whether you run to the city, whatever way you go, these curses will always be upon us. And these are some of the curses. From verse 17 now, "Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store." And that's right, and the basket and the store in this case being your pockets and your bank accounts. And that's why, whenever you see the little jigs, they have their bank accounts in the red. The little jigs are even, are in poverty to the point where they are even in debt, all right? So you are owing, various amounts to various different, to the bank, to money lenders and the like. And that's how, that's basically the courses that are on our people currently. So let me continue going on. Let me continue reading it up. Let me find some. Let me get the rest, and then I'll close out with that. So continuing on, yes. Um, Here it is. Deuteronomy 28, verse 43, and it reads, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And these curses are falling upon us for that express reason, because we do not obey the commandments of our God. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we did not keep his commandments. So he sent these curses on us, man, and the curses they got us, alright. Hook, line, and sinker. We got hit by these our people, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We all got hit by these curses to the point where you know our people are completely destroyed. To the point where there even sometimes, man, before you got into the street, it seemed like there was no hope for our people. All right, but now we've come into a time where we can be delivered from all this. We have a chance to come out of this situation that we're in through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. And all we have to do is come back to our heritage, remember who we are as a people, and we can escape these curses that have been afflicting us for all this time. Because this is no longer a time to be, you know, in mourning or to be contemplating on these curses that are on us and being miserable concerning how our life in this though our life in Esau's kingdom is, because the scripture says, man, that the heaven that is above us shall be as brass. All right, meaning that what you look up, meaning that what you don't see any way out. It's basically like a prison caging our people, but we are no longer in that time anymore, because we have already fulfilled, all right, or you know we have already done our time, fulfilled our sentence. All right, so now it's time for the Most High to reverse these curses on our enemies. It's time for the Most High to bring us up out of this. It is time for deliverance. All right, because it's no longer going to be, when you look at the poorest countries, you see Israelites filling up the scoreboard. That's no longer going to be the situation. It's going to be from now on that our people are going to have wealth, okay, beyond imagination, wealth beyond our wildest dreams, all right. And that's what is coming on the earth, because we are no longer in the time of these curses. We're no longer going to be the poorest people on the planet. We're no longer going to be afflicted every day by these curses from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We are going to be redeemed and delivered from them, because the one who will restore, the one who will bring us back, the one who will buy us back is our Lord Yahushua. And all we are doing right now is waiting for his return. Lord willing, we'll be a part of that number. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Racha Kwadash, Wa Abad Babal. And through the Spirit, I hope you are coming, you are quite edified. Shalom.